Hey, what's poppin', everybody? We're back with another Muffins with Morgan. We got the Muffins. We got Travis Scott in the background. Y'all know what it is. We're super excited, as always. And as you come in here, as you all know, drop in where are you tuning in from, where are you coming in from. Muffins with Morgan, number 6. We're super excited today. Again, as you all have seen this before, there's questions that I already have pre-programmed. We got Travis Scott in the background. Holy, here we go. Hey, yo, this is my song right here. Yeah.
Parked the days in and taking no days in. Yeah. Don't need a vacation, I need a replacement.
It's lit.
Busting the lights out as soon as we came in. Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
What are they talking about? What is pertaining? Yeah. We need a therapist, as if I'm aging.
Hey. Y'all know how it is. We bring the energy. Let's get everybody in here.
I gotta get with my face in. Brand new, this new place I got you.
All right, everybody. So, again, as you tune in, where are you coming in from? You want to make sure everybody that's good to go as we go into here. So, already got questions that have been sent to me, and we're about to go into it. So, as always, let's get it. So, shout out to London. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to London, man. I got to get back to London here sometime here soon. That's always a spot that I like going to. Olivia, welcome to Muffins with Morgan. Jeremy, what's going on, man? Jared, what's going on? So we got people coming in here. And again, as I always say, where are you tuning in from? Let us know, and then we'll dive right into it. So, first and foremost, Mia. We got Mia in here. What's going on? Tell your brother DB say I tell him what's up. So one question that I want to add in here, again, as you come in, ask your question in the comments, and I'll make sure to get to it. So one thing I want to start off with is, what are the 3 things that you can be focused on as a sales development, business development, BDR, SDR to be successful? So I thought this was a really great question, and I want to start off with that one. And then again, as you all have questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll get to it. But also give some shout outs here. Steven's coming in from Dallas. I have family out in Dallas, so that's awesome. We got some Chicago people in here. So we got Olivia, we got Brittany's in here from Chicago. That's what's up. Miami. Shout out to Miami, Chris. Hopefully you all are enjoying the weather down there, because I always know it's really nice. I got family down there as well. And shout out to Nigeria. Okay, Christian toned it in from Nigeria. That's really cool. Shout out to Vancouver. Alana, that's where my girlfriend lives. So shout out over there. And then Robert, good seeing you. Good seeing you as well. So, okay, so the 3 things, right? If you're a BDR, SDR, you're in this role right now. Maybe you're an AE and you have a BDR, SDR. Maybe you're a manager and you have these individuals in your organization. These are the 3 things that you should be focused on to be a top SDR, BDR. So number 1 is active listening. So it's not just listening or hearing something, because that's where a lot of people miss out on it. It's the active listening. So it's actively asking the right questions, actively hearing what is the person saying, right? Because as BDR, SDRs, what we're prone to do is just figure out, all right, I get these objections, I answer it in this way, and then this is my result, right? Instead of listening to what people are saying, so you're able to convert that opportunity. So, and really think about that right there, is have the active listening skills to hear and listen what people are saying to you, so that you can ask the right questions, because that skill set is going to help you be great at the cold calls that you're doing, and it'll help you be great at sales in general, because it's all about listening to ask the right questions. So that's number 1, is have that active listening skill, continuously train on yourself on it, listen to your own calls. These are things that are critical. Number 2 is, what are you doing that's unique and different every single day? So if this is the 6th Muffins with Morgan that we've had, you all know that I talk about video a lot. All right. I say, hey, if you want to stand out right now, you need to be using video. So the key, right? The key here is understanding the fact that you have to do things that are a little bit different, and they're outside the box. So what are those things? One is video, one is memes, and right, one is GIFs and GIFs, right? These are just different things you can be thinking about. However, know that in your BDR SEO role that you have to adjust accordingly almost every single month. There's so many things that are happening that you have to be thinking about. What are ways that you can engage? What are ways that you can prospect someone differently, ask a question differently, sell differently? These are things that are key, right? So when I tell you all that the number two thing is the ability to adjust, the ability to ask the right questions, right? It comes down to being the ability to do it. What happens a lot of time, right, is we say, oh, well, I'm good with this, right? I've done this for a long time and it is what it is. Instead of being like, I've done this for a long time. However, what else can I be doing to get results? What else can I be doing to engage with other people, right? So think about that. Number two is the ability to adjust to new things. And then number three is asking for feedback. I personally was not the best at this when I first started off in my SDR BDR role. I didn't really ask for a lot of feedback and I didn't do as well. And so I ended up changing that to ask people feedback on, okay, how do I deliver this cold call better? How do I do this email better? How do I do social better, right? These are things that I started to ask of myself so I could figure out what results I was looking to get, right? So to be a top SDR, BDR right now in the number one category, it is active listening, number one. Number two is, are you willing to adjust? Are you willing to do things that are a little bit different? And then number three is, are you asking for feedback? Are you talking to your manager about your cold calls? Are you getting in the trenches with them? Are you asking for feedback on an email? So that's one question I got right there. And so again, hopefully you all found that helpful. And again, as you all come in here and you're listening in, any questions that you have, drop it in the chat and we're going to make sure to get to it. So let's do a couple shout outs here. Robio, loving the Astro hat. Man, this is one of my favorite hats. I lost my original Astro World hat because I was doing way too much and I ended up losing out on it. So that's not the best thing. So you don't want that vibe for yourself, because I ended up losing the hat because I was in a mosh pit. So fun fact there. Let's see. We got shout out to Ted from Austin, Texas. Great city. Daryl, chocolate chip muffins. Those are the key. And then boom, we got a question here. So how do you better understand your buyer personas, pain points, tasks for the day as an SDR? Walter, great question here. And again, as we're here, let's ask questions. Let's vibe with each other. Let's get it going. But this is a great question. And how I better understand my buyer persona and pain points, first and foremost, because there are two questions in here, right? One thing that I do is I go talk to customer success. So Walter, one thing that we don't do a great job as a sales reps is talking to customer success or talking to our customers. We as sales reps try to figure out what's the golden nugget, what's the secret strategy, right? What's the silver bullet? And at the end of the day, it's just asking questions so people can get you the right answers. So how do you better understand your buyer persona's pain points? I'll give you three things, Walter, you can do right now to better understand them. One, and I just said already, talk to customer success. They're talking to the customers daily, so they know what the pain points are, right? Number two, right, from an SDR standpoint, you're not closing deals, right? So you're not able to talk to them as much. However, you're still on those cold calls. You're still on those email threads, right? So what I also would do is listen to your own cold calls, and listen to other people's cold calls. If you have a solution like a Gong or a Chorus or a Sales Off, Outreach, you will be able to most likely listen to your calls. I don't know your tech stack. However, for everyone listening in here, you can listen to your own calls. You can hear the pain points. You can hear the challenges, right? You can understand what the priorities are. So that's what I would do. Number three is go listen to podcasts or shows that your personas are on, right? So, from my perspective, right, it's a little bit easier. I can go to a podcast about sales leaders and figure out what they want to talk about, right? And what their pain points are and what their priorities are. Super simple. So I'd encourage you to do the same thing. The only way we're going to know how to talk someone's language is by hearing them talk their language. So go listen to those podcasts. Go find those YouTube shows. I listened to a podcast this morning, 30 minutes. I just was learning about my industry. I was like, all right, what are leaders talking about right now? I always try to take 30 minutes on the weekend to listen to one podcast. Sometimes I might listen to three, and it's super simple to do, right? You can have a podcast in the background and I play my video games that don't really need sound. And then in the background, I'm listening to all those insights so I can understand my buyers better. So I'm more natural as well. And so Charlie even added that in there. Have you asked your marketing team yet? That's another route to go as well. But those are the main three, Walter, is talk to customer success. That's first and foremost. People miss out on that. And then number two is listen to your own calls and listen to your team members' calls, right? Because they may be able to be nailing pain points that you may not be realizing when they're asked certain questions. And then number three is go listen to podcasts or YouTube channels that relate to that buyer persona, and then they're going to bring up those pain points. And then how do you do the task for the day as an SDR? At the end of the day, it's all going to be based upon where you're seeing the most success. So Walter, break your schedule into 30, 60, 90. So 30 minutes of doing personalized emails, 60 minutes of doing cold calls, 90 minutes of doing research, right? Break your day into different tasks and separate them into three different categories. So what those three different categories are green, which is money making activities. Y'all, if you don't have money making activities or green on your calendar, you're completely missing out and you're not going to get the value you're looking for, right? So you want to make sure that there's green on these calendars so you can get those action steps so you can get results. So that's one point. Number two, right, is the yellow activities, which are prepping yourself for the money-making activities. And then red is taking that break. So again, you're not doing anything crazy. You're just, again, taking that break, and it allows yourself to get back in the motion of the tasks that are high priority so you can do them at full speed. So Walter, those are the three things you should go look at for buyer pain points. And then that schedule I just broke down for you in terms of framework, I would go execute that as well, Walter. So hopefully that was helpful and that answers your question. All right, so, hey, shout out to Ross, man. Hope everything's going good. It's good seeing you in here. And Jared also said there's an SDR who's getting a lot of engagements from his posts on Zoom personalities. Yeah, I think that is Tom William. He is definitely doing a good job on that as well. So let's see. All right, what are some approaches to get an initial LinkedIn connection? Billy, there's a multitude of different ways you can go and get an initial LinkedIn connection and get them connected to your network. What I will tell you, though, right now, according to the data, is blind connection requests have the most acceptance. So let me run that back. Some of y'all may have missed that. So the blank connection request has the highest responses. So because of that, that's what I would suggest you to do. Is I would do that as well. And make sure that you can go out and do that. Now, there are other ways as well. And there might be some people in here who have suggestions in the chat. So, I'm not the only person who can lay down the advice on this. However, what I would tell you, Billy, is there's another route, which is called the direct note. I personally like this one a lot, especially for executives, is telling people, why do you want to connect? So, Billy, let's say I want to connect with you and you are a VP of sales. So I'll be like, hi, Billy. We give SDRs the skill-based training that helps them get better at their cold calling and convert more opportunities. If you were to accept, then my goal would be with you to chat with you on those areas. That's it. So Billy, what did I just do there? So what I did is I did an upfront contract on LinkedIn. So, right, everyone probably has been through a Sandler training before, or they've seen Sandler training, or about, which is the upfront contract. So what I'm doing is I'm doing an upfront contract in the connection request. So if you do accept me, that now is going to lead to a meeting because you accepted that, right? So now you are waiting for that pitch. So that is one thing that I would use as well. And because if you can do that, that will lead to some success. So those are two things that I would suggest to you, Billy, is one, blank requests that leads to the highest connection requests that we've seen across the board, according to my own data, reps data, people that we're training. And then if you want to take a different route and you want to personalize it, that direct note is another way of going about it. I normally do that for people who are above the power line, so VPs and C levels, and that's worked really well for me. So that's another route you can take. So Billy, that's the answer to that question. Hopefully that was helpful. Walter, you're welcome, man. I'm glad you got some context there and you're good to go. Let's see some other ones. All right, Olivia. So you asked, how can you show your value in a concise way when you sell something very complex? All right, so we're definitely gonna go into that. Yo, shout out to my guy Kevin. Yo, man, I'm doing good, man. We're just in here vibing with Muffins with Morgan. I got the muffins on the side. When we get a question where I'm like, boom, we got to go deep. But again, we're just going through it. All right, so Olivia, there's a lot of things here, right? So, there's a lot of angles I can go in when you're selling something complex. And, a lot of people can chime in here. However, what I always tell people to focus on is what are the next steps and the steps in the process that you need to take to get the closed deal. So when you're thinking about something complex, right, or even something that you're looking at like a puzzle, right? You take it piece by piece. You don't just dump all the puzzle pieces out and you're just like, all right, let me figure this out. Like you take it piece by piece. And so when you think of something complex, you have to take it piece by piece. And so how you sell something complex is what are the next steps that you need to accomplish to get to the end result. So it's like, all right, I have my first call. So with the first call, the second call should add this person. The third call should add this person. The fourth call should encompass this. So really what you should do to sell something complex is to have a scorecard of what to do and what you need to say and the information you need to get to the outcome. So Olivia, for you, without me knowing the exact information of what complex means, because we would have to define that, is what steps are you taking? So focus on closing for the next steps in something complex, not just, hey, I got to close this big, huge deal, or this is very technical. It's let's break this down. How can I get them to the next steps so that it's a very simple and cohesive process? So that comes down to the questions that you ask, that comes down to the structure that you have. And again, this is, again, very detailed here because when I think of complex, I think of a lot of different things, Olivia. However, to keep it very simple, my answer is I would look at it and be like, all right, what are the next steps that I need to accomplish to help get this closed deal, right? So, hey, next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. How can I close for next steps? What's the process in that and what are the steps? So that's what I would tell you there, Olivia, in terms of selling something very complex without knowing the exact information. I'm hopeful that's helpful for everybody there. Again, I don't have an exact answer, to be honest with you, because I don't know what complex means, but that was my taking a stab at it. And again, hopefully that was helpful. So let's see. Got a lot of good questions here. All right. So gatekeepers. So Alex, probably not getting as many gatekeepers, right? People might be starting to go back to the office, so we might see a little uptick here, but we might not see a lot of gatekeepers. And so what I'll say here is how you get through a tough gatekeeper is with your intro, Alex. So one thing I would say is asking them, can you help me? So as soon as you start the call, what we're prone to do is we just go right into it. And we say, hey, my name's Morgan Ingram from Terminus, and I'm looking to connect with Billy. And it's like, that's what every other rep says. So why are you saying that, right? So we have to interrupt patterns. So one thing you need to do when you talk to a gatekeeper is first thing you say is, can you help me? Don't say your name. Don't say their name. They're going to answer and say, hi, I'm Sally. And you just say, can you help me? So what happens immediately based on human nature? They're like, oh yeah, I can help. Like, what can I do? What are things I can assist with? This is what happens. And then you're like, hey, thanks for that. Can I connect with Billy, please? Right? So make sure that you put please. That's critical there. So once you say that, people are more willing to put you across the line. So with the gatekeeper, right, always think about them as an ally and not an enemy, right? Because when you think about it as an enemy, right, subconsciously, you're going to have a tone of voice that's not going to be an ally to them. So make sure that you're coming in as an ally. The steps, right? Here's a formula, right? You all know I am. Here's a formula, right? Here's a formula to get through a gatekeeper. One, ask, can you help me? Immediately. Don't say your name unless you're Bill Gates. It ain't going to happen for you, all right? Number two is you say, hey, thanks so much for the assistance. I'm looking to connect with Billy. Please, can you put me through? Please. I'm adding the double pleases there, right? When you say please twice, the likelihood of you getting converting is higher. That's the two-step process. Now, what if they say, hey, that person's in a meeting, follow back up in whatever months, right? So then you follow up with the question that gatekeeper can't answer. So let me run that back, right? You ask a question that the gatekeeper can't answer. And so a question you could ask could be, right? I'm selling sales training, right? I could be like, hey, how are you currently making sure that the team is getting modern sales best practices and they're able to prospect through this noise right now? Just super curious. And then what ends up happening is they're going to be like, yeah, Morgan, I don't know the answer to that question. And then it's like, yeah, so, the reason I was calling is I was looking to connect with Billy because it looks like that's what he's covering right now. So could you please put me through? And then most of the time people put you through. Last thing I'll say on this, and then we'll move to the next question, is once you've gotten through to the gatekeeper, right? Now, this is not foolproof, right? This is a silver bullet. I'm just saying this is going to be a lot easier for you to convert. When someone says, hey, I'm going to connect you through, stop them and say, hey, thanks so much for doing that. Can I get your extension number or the direct line so I don't have to call back because my phone's been a little bit buggy today? And a lot of times people will give you the direct dial or the extension number right there because they don't want you to call back as their gatekeeper. So that's one thing I would do right there. Alex, hopefully that was helpful. Those are the gatekeeper nuggets right there. All right, let's see. We got some questions in here. All right, so we got one from the sales job interview. So, Kevin, can you clarify this for me? Like, how do you deal with objection during a sales job interview? Like, what's the objection? If you could tell me what the objection is, then I can answer this better because I got to know exactly what it is to give you the answer. So, but let's jump down here. So Galen's got this question, and then Ted, I'll pop back to you here in a minute because it goes back with objection. So how do you handle the objection? He or he won't take a sales call or marketing call, and you ask politely to connect over email. So, normally when this happens, like I asked as a follow-up, I'm like, okay, this person doesn't take sales or marketing calls. I'm curious, just as a person who does this on a day-to-day basis, and I believe that we can help based on my research, what is something that I can do to wow this person to take a meeting with me? So let me take a step back. No one asked this question, right? People ask like, hey, what's the preferred method, right? They're never going to give you the preferred method. So you have to ask the question a little bit differently. You have to say, hey, understand that this person doesn't take sales or marketing calls. I know they're extremely busy right now. However, this is my day-to-day job, and I'm always looking to get better at my craft. So I'm just curious, what's something that I can do to wow this individual to take a meeting with me? A lot of people are going to take a step back and be like, okay, yeah, maybe it's direct mail. Maybe it's a video. Maybe it's like, hey, put this in the subject line, right? A lot of people don't ask, what can you do to wow this person? Not like, what's their preference, right? I want to know, what can I do to wow this person? As a gatekeeper, even as an executive assistant, this is a great question because now they probably deal with this person on a day-to-day basis, right? So they're going to tell you, oh, okay, yeah, do this. Now that's going to make your conversation a lot easier, right? It's going to set you up with more ammunition to then get that meeting. And so that's one thing I would say there, Galen. Hopefully that was helpful, but that's how I go about it. And then Kevin, let me know. Man, I'm looking at my screen, make sure I didn't miss anything, but like, let me know on what that is in your case. Like, what is the objection so that I can cover it? Because again, I want to make sure that I got you here. So let's go to Ted. So how many touch points do you have at one contact before stopping further outreach or putting them on pause? Ted, I believe this is going to be different for everyone. We got people tuning in from London. We got people tuning in from the States. We got somebody tuning in. Shout out to Nigeria, right? So we got people in here tuning in from different places. So Ted, the touch points are going to be different for each contact because it's going to be different for each region. And it's also going to be different for each persona as well. What I will tell you, though, is I personally do 11 touches. Mine is 11 touches in 20 days. I also have a new cadence that's been super successful for people as of late, and it's 6 touches in 20 days. So I've taken it back a little bit. Everyone's touch points are going to be different. Some people have 15 and 30 days. Some people have 20 and 50 days. People are all over the place, right? And that's okay, Ted. But what I will tell you right now is what I found to be successful is my 6-touch campaign. So it's a LinkedIn message, an email, a video, a follow-up, another email, and then a goodbye email. So those are my 6 touches in 20 days, and I found that to be very successful for me. So no matter if it's 11 or 6 or 15 or 18, what do I do once it's done, right? Is I've gone through the entire organization. I've hit up every contact and they haven't answered me. I will then put all those people on a drip or reach back out campaign for 3 months because I know in 3 months, priorities, objectives will change because the quarter will change. And so because of that, I now could come with a different approach to talk to those individuals. So that's another thing to pay attention to as well, to make sure you can get that engagement. So that's one thing that I would say there, Ted. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, so we're still waiting for Kevin to clarify what objection in the sales job interview means. So again, I can answer that. And then we're going to go over here to Ollie. So, hey, how do you engage prospects who have clear pains in their current process, but are very short their answers to their questions over the course of a demo prospecting call? So, we have one person here said, hey, are you already asking open questions? I mean, that would be my thing, Ollie, is that when people aren't giving you those answers, it's because first and foremost, they don't feel comfortable in giving that to you. So, Ollie, let's take a huge step back. Is how are you starting the call? Right? Because if you think about dating, you think about building relationships with people, people don't give you information until they feel comfortable with you and they can trust you. Otherwise, they're going to see you as another sales rep who's asking the same bant questions that are annoying. So what I would do, Ollie, is come to the call in the first 5 seconds with value so they know that you came with research. So let me clarify for Ollie. So every call, what I do, if it's a new prospect, I'm like, hey, before we start the call, real quick, I just want to give you a brief breakdown of what I've done research on, right? Most sales reps don't do this. They just hop into the call and they just say, hey, this is what I'm about, right? No, they don't care about that. They want to know, did you come prepared to the call, especially an executive? So I say, hey, real quick, before we hop into this, like I just want to break down like what I have so far. So I went on your website. I saw that you're targeting personas of security analysts, CISOs, CIOs, CTOs. I also noticed that the companies that you go after, it looks like they're on the mid-market enterprise size. And also I looked on your careers page and you're hiring about 4 SDRs right now, which is super interesting. That means you're probably growing and you're still seeing good business during this time, which is good to hear. And I also noticed that you've been in this role for about a year. So that's just good understanding for me. We talked to a lot of directors of sales development, VP of sales development that are around this year tenure that are looking for training as of right now. I also noticed that you're hiring an enablement person as well. That means that training is probably top of mind. So real quick, before we move forward in the conversation, is that accurate or did I miss something? Ollie, that breakdown I just gave you right there is key. Because now they're like, oh, this person did their research. Most reps don't do that. They don't come to the conversation and say, hey, I've already done the research for you. You don't have to explain your company. You don't have to tell me what you guys are about. I already know what you're selling. I already know who you're talking to. I looked at your website. I looked at your LinkedIn. That takes, 5 minutes to do? It's really not that difficult. If you block off 5 minutes to be like, let me look at these things, get the checklist down and go into the call. Now what's that going to do is that person's going to open up. And then, Ollie, once they open up, then the next question, this is key, is I say, hey, before we go into this content, right? What exactly would you like to learn from this call today so it's impactful for you? So check it out. I'm asking them, what do they want to learn? I already know about the product. I already know about the service. I talk to people like you a ton. I want to know what you need to know from me so that now I can ask the right open-ended and layering impact questions. Questions that if you're just asking questions to ask questions, it's going to annoy people. It's going to be bothersome. Our job as sales reps is to be as aligned to a doctor as possible. You don't just show up to a doctor and they're like, all right, yep, here's the Advil. Like, what? We didn't ask me any questions yet. You haven't diagnosed it. So by doing that structure, hey, I did my research. Boom. Is this accurate? Yeah, Morgan, that's accurate. Cool. So before we move forward, what exactly are you looking to cover in this conversation today so it can be impactful? Hey, Morgan, well, these are the 3 things I'd like to know. Then you say, okay, we're going to cover that in the conversation, and then you go forward from there. So, Ollie, that automatically will open people up. That automatically will get people to talk to you, and that will allow you to then, based on your question here, ask the certain questions on the demo and the prospecting. On the demo, or also on the demo side. The prospecting call, that's cold calls. That's different. But on the demo side, that's what you should be doing. So, Ollie, hopefully that was helpful. That's what I do in terms of the demo. And that's how you get people to open up, because again, if you show you've done something, they're going to tell you a lot of stuff. So Ollie, let me know if that was helpful. You got any follow-up questions? And I appreciate that. Let's also, again, everybody's asking questions. I'm going to get to your questions. So don't be like, Morgan's ignoring me. Like, I got you, right? But we got to make sure everybody's good here. So we have, let's see here. Okay, Kevin. So Kevin's back. We got to get back to Kevin because he asked that question earlier. Let's say you're waiting on next steps after a BDR interview and unfortunately the company did not decide to move forward. You really want to work for the company. Do you reach back out and try to urge the higher rep to reconsider? At that point, no. So what I would do there, Kevin, is if they decide that they want to move forward with you, okay, fine. It's an abundance mindset. There's a lot of opportunities out there. There's a lot of BDR jobs. What I would ask, though, is, hey, thanks for the opportunity and letting me know that you didn't move forward with me. However, is there any feedback on what I can do better the next time as I continuously interview? So here's the thing. Like, even if you don't get the job, you can always learn what you maybe should have asked or you did wrong and truly understand, why did they hire you, right? We have to know that. And so that's one thing that I would do there. If you really, really want it, Kevin, you already know where I'm going to go with this. I would send them a video and break down like, hey, these are the things of why I feel like I should take this role. However, once people have made that decision, they've made the decision. Unless someone in here has turned around a job before when they said, no, thank you. My case is, hey, you weren't interested in me. That's completely fine. Let me get advice from the people that rejected me. And then from that rejection, let me go find an opportunity where people really want me. Because Kevin, this is my mindset. My mindset is like, I am choosing the company. The company is not choosing me. In the interview, I am deciding if I want to work with you or not, right? So if you decide, hey, I'm not a fit for you, that's completely fine. I'll go find an organization that will invest into me and want to work with me. That's my take at the end of the day. There's a lot of opportunities where I've seen, again, across the board, where I thought it was perfect for me and it ended up not being perfect for me, and I found a way better fit. So again, everything at the end of the day, there are no losses, there are only lessons, Kevin. And so I would just ask them to see, hey, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Take that information, and I guarantee you'll find a better opportunity that is even a better fit for you than you originally thought. So, Kevin, hopefully that was helpful. All right, cool. Let's get to Anika. So this is how you handle send me an email from an executive or really anyone. So I'm going to do it more so. Obviously, this is over the phone, right? So when anyone says, send me an email, first and foremost, that's a brush off, right? So no one's like, hey, send me an email, and they immediately reply the next day. We all know that, right? So this is how you handle it. When someone says this, say, hey, happy to send you an email. What type of content would you like to see in that email? When would you like to see it? And why? So what, when, why? Got the formulas back, right? So first you got to ask that question. You got to clarify. Send me an email. Like, what type of content are you looking for? When would you like to see it? And why? Now, let's just go if they accept that. And they say, yeah, Morgan, I need a blog post on this. I need a breakdown of your services in this way. And if you could send that to me tomorrow, that'd be great. And also the reason why is because we're looking into this right now. Cool. So then I'm like, hey, Bob, happy to send that information over to you so then we can get this accordingly to how you want it. However, I've talked to a lot of people that are in your role right now as a VP of sales, and what they found to be beneficial is for me to send them the information so they can review it, and for us to set up a quick 10-minute call to go over that content that I sent over to make sure that moving forward, this is something relevant to you. So I'm not an annoying sales rep that follows up with you after I send this email. So can we schedule time next Tuesday to go over the information? Does that sound fair? Y'all, that right there will schedule you more meetings than it normally would. Because check out what I did. So first I said, hey, what type of content are you looking for? When would you like to see it? And why? So I got to break down like an email. Okay, what does that even mean? Then I got the info, right? Then once I got the info, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to send you that information. However, at the same time, it's a give-get situation, right? I want a scheduled meeting. I'm not going to ask for too much of your time, though. So I'm just going to ask for 10 minutes. So, hey, 10 minutes of your time so I can review the material. And so me reviewing the material for you, then we can set up a call to build use case. Again, I'm not an annoying sales rep, and then we're all on the same page. And so from there, easy setup with the schedule, and now you're good to go. And that schedules a lot more meetings. This is not a silver bullet. This is not a magic formula. However, it does work a lot. And if they end up saying, hey, I don't know what information to send, you can be like, hey, look, I got a lot of info over here at our organization. I could send you a ton of stuff, right? And I don't want to flood your inbox. So can you help me? I'm glad Steven hopped in here. Can you help me help you so I can send you the right information? And most people are going to give it to you. Nobody wants 1,000 things in their inbox, because guess what? I will send you 1,000 things in your inbox if you say send me an email and you don't tell me what to send. Because then I'm like, all right, cool. Here's all the resources. Like, check it out. And they're going to be annoyed. But it's like, I told you, I'm trying to help you out here, right? So that's how you handle send me an email. Get yourself some more meetings. So again, hopefully someone out there found that helpful today. So Mike, yeah, I seen you in here. I don't know why we don't give people context of why we're talking in the first 3 minutes. I found that to be extremely beneficial. Shout out to my guy, Danny, for setting me up on that one, because I really enjoyed that one. And it's been helpful for me to do that kind of intro. And then Amani, I believe that's how you say your name, is most of your prospecting over the phone or email? So neither. Most of it's on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn videos has been the number one meeting setter for me. It's pretty much all I do is create videos, to be honest with you. However, again, everyone's industry personas is going to be different. However, we have seen a decrease in cold call connects and cold call conversions across the board, according to the data, and email responses are starting to slightly go up. However, more emails are getting sent out, so there's a lot of noise there. So I found that if the buyers are on LinkedIn, it's a lot easier to prospect there. So I found that LinkedIn prospecting, LinkedIn videos, LinkedIn voice notes, that's where I schedule most of my meetings and I do most of my business, to be honest with you. Why do you feel video as a step in your cadence is so crucial to the overall prospecting journey when working with you? So the thing at the end of the day is that, let's break this down. Video is the virtual handshake. You can see me right now. If this was just an audio, you all probably wouldn't be watching this. If this was in written form, it wouldn't be as engaging. So what I do know is 7:38:55. 7% is spoken word, 38% is voice and tone, 55% is body language, Matt. And so what I know here, Matt, is because I know if I create a video for you, one, it stands out. 28% increase in video sent for that people want to see right now, right? So 28% increase in video sent. It's the top topic for a lot of people they want to learn more about. And then also people want to watch more videos because they're sitting at home, they're commuting, they're not commuting somewhere, they're not on an airplane. So they're more willing to have a conversation with you if you send that video. And again, most executives will take the time to watch videos. There's a ton of people, VCs, founders, that respond more to my videos than if I sent them an email, right? Because they can sense personality, energy, because sales is the transfer of enthusiasm, right? So if you can sense my enthusiasm, if you can feel my energy, that's going to be more on your conversions because you're relating more to as a human, right? And so that's why I consider it a step. That's why I tell people to use it, is because it can bring out your personality. And again, what I talk about all the time, which is prospecting through the noise. There's a lot of noise out there. So if you could come up on your video and be like, this is what I want to do. This is why I'm reaching out to you. Here's my call to action. And you can do that consistently. You can schedule a lot of meetings. You know, my whole goal is, at bare minimum, I make 5 videos a day to somebody. That's my goal. And it's been working for me ever since. So Matt, hopefully that was helpful in answering your question. Hey, Martina, what's going on? Hopefully everything's good out there with you. It's good seeing you here in this live stream. And let's see, Romeo, I can go back to the anti-why. Maybe we'll end on that one. But I know we got some other questions here. Daryl, I don't know. No book anytime soon, man. I'm just out here supporting the community, giving content, and just doing my thing. So no book as of right now. It's something I've considered. I don't know really what I would write about just yet. However, I appreciate those kind of remarks, and I'm glad that you're learning here. So let's see. Boom, boom, boom. We got a couple questions here. All right. How do you convince your customers to invest in a full-time 1-year contract versus a 3-month pilot? So this goes back to the questions that you're asking. Also, what it really comes down to is this is a question that people miss a lot. And this question is key because it's going to help you close more deals, right? And again, I don't know what your solution is. I don't know what the marketplace is. So it's going to be hard to tell you exactly what to do without knowing exactly what's happening. However, what I would suggest here is, yeah, Bob. So Bob's suited for Periscope. Yeah, maybe I need to write a book on just video prospecting and how videos helped out my career. Maybe that's the book, because it's been super helpful for a lot of people. I will say this before I answer the question, is that we had someone who followed this LinkedIn video outreach formula cadence that Carmel just asked for, and they hit 280% of their quota by following the cadence that I recommended to them. So for those of you who are like, oh, I don't know if this works. So shout out to my guy, senior AE, followed the cadence, did what I said on videos, 280% of quota, scheduled more meetings than all of his AEs combined. It works. It works. So we're gonna get to that in a minute. We'll get back to how he did that, but I just wanted to lay that out there for those who are like, I don't know about video. It comes down to messaging, the structure, when you're doing it, and then we'll discuss it here. But all right, let's go back here. So these are existing customers who try out new products or expanding to other teams. Yeah. So if they're already existing clients, then you need to break down like first of all, what's their decision criteria as of right now, and why they would maybe potentially looking to expand post the 3-month pilot. Also, and again, I don't know exactly about this, to be honest with you, because I don't run like 3-month pilots and I've never done this before. I'm just giving you my suggestion here. All right. So I don't exactly know. However, this is what I think you should do based on like what you're phrasing here, and me coaching other clients who have 3-month pilots. I told them, hey, look, you have these pilots. First and foremost, what is the barrier of entry for them to do the pilots? And what are the expectations that they should come out of this 3-month pilot to make them invest into you for a year? If you're just giving them a pilot to be like, hey, check out this pilot, and then you follow up in 3 months to be like, hey, do you want to upgrade? There's no process to move them across the funnel to go be a 1-year contract, right? So what I would say is, hey, we're going to put you in this 3-month pilot. What would be your decision criteria in moving to a 1-year contract? Well, hey, I want to make sure that the product does X, Y, and Z, right? So when you get to the end of the 3-month pilot, you could be like, hey, your decision criteria and moving to a 1-year contract was X, Y, Z. Were we able to accomplish those things? If yes, let's move to a 1-year contract. If not, then maybe there's something in the product that needs to be more appealing to them to get the 1-year contract. Maybe you need to add an additional service, right? Again, I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know the product. I don't know the marketplace. I don't directly deal with this. However, in coaching people that have done this and we've helped them increase their deals, that's what we had to do, is like, what is your decision criteria in doing a 1-year contract? What's the benefit of them even doing a 1-year contract with you? Is it the same as a 3-month pilot? So, okay, cool. I can do a 3-month pilot, get what I need, and I can move on, right? So really understand, like, what do they get with this 1-year contract? What services do they get with you? What are your competitors doing when they sign up for 1-year contracts? And compare and contrast and what you need to offer that individual. Because at the end of the day, the reason that people want to have that 1-year contract is customer service. The product's great, right? They feel bought in. These are things you have to ask yourself to get those answers. All right. So again, hopefully that was helpful there. Let's see on another question. And we got about 14 minutes here that we're hanging out. So the breakdown of over a cold call. So I don't normally do a ton of research before I do a cold call. The cold call intro is pretty simple, because I just say, hey, what's my powerful intro? What do I say in the first 5 seconds to get your attention? Then what's my value prop? Then my call to action. And then if they don't answer, then that's a voicemail, right? So really is on this case, when you're facing objections on the phone or you're not getting a prospect to talk to you, you need to have go-to questions that are in your pocket that you can ask to open people up and have conversations with you. So that is something I would do as well, going back to buyer pain points and et cetera. I would go look at the buyer pain points and be like, all right, cool. So what does this person deal with on a day-to-day basis? And what are the questions I then could program to get those results? So that's what I would do there in terms of the cold call is, what's your powerful intro to get someone's attention? What's your value prop? And then on top of that, what's your call to action? And then the objections that you keep facing, proactively get answers to those objections, and then have go-to questions in your back pocket when someone's giving you these yes or no answers and they're not giving you a lot. So that open-ended question or the impact question or your go-to question is predicated on something they deal with on a day-to-day basis. So then again, they open up and they give you that information. So hopefully that's helpful there as well. Yeah, video builds trust faster than a call. That's why I always tell people, hop on this right now. And again, it's going to be something that you have to develop. It's going to be something over time that's going to be different. However, again, I suggest people to focus in on that. Again, I'm just looking at what's working and what's not. So that's key. So let's see. See what other questions we got here. Shout out, you got Summer from Texas. Shout out to Texas. What are the drivers do you believe contribute most to building a great relationship with prospects? Neither. I think what the drivers are is that you make the process easy for them. When we overcomplicate the process, it leads to less results, it leads to less engagement, and people aren't able to have conversations with us in the same way that we would like for them to, right? And so the only way to build a great relationship with your prospects is to make sure that you're active listening, you're making sure that you're communicating with them in the best way possible. And also on the top of that as well is that you make the next steps easy for them every time, that you're guiding them in the process, and it doesn't seem like they have to do a lot of work for you to close them. And so that's what I've seen with great relationships with prospects that I work with that turn into clients is I make the process seamless for them and I make it very smooth so they feel engaged and they feel like they're a part of it and it's not overcomplicated for them. So that's what I would say there. So, hey, yo, Nick, what's going on from YouTube? What's going on, man? So we got a lot of people popping on here. So next thing I will say as well is let's go over this cadence. Here it is. Let's go over this. And then we'll answer the anti-why and we'll be out of here, right? So you guys know these are our sessions. Again, I always appreciate you guys rocking with me. So the LinkedIn video outreach formula and cadence, this is what I found to be successful. So day one is a LinkedIn connection request. Now, we just talked about this, right? So that is my blind, blank connection request that I'll reach out to somebody with. The reason I do that is I want to put a face to the name. If someone knows who I am, if they see me before, that video, that email is going to be successful. Right? So that's key there. Then, second touch is day two, I send an email. Now, that outbound email can be a personalized email based on research that I found, or I send a targeted-based email, or I'm even trying out something funny now, which is a meme-based email. That meme-based email is not going well so far. I got to change it up again. Again, I'm playing around with it, having fun. But those are the steps, right? So it can be a funny-based email, like a meme, a GIF, a GIF, whatever, right? If you want to go down that route. 2 is a tailored email, or 3 is a targeted-based email. So that's day 2. Day 4, what happens is I'm going to send a LinkedIn voice message or video if they accept it to me on day 1. So on day 1, if they accepted the connection request, I now can reach out with the LinkedIn video or voice message. If they don't accept my connection request, that's fine, because now what I can do is I can send an in-mail. Now, in-mails, I don't necessarily like them. I don't think they get as much response rates. However, it is another vehicle and it's another tool I can use to engage with someone, right? So I'm going to send an in-mail. Now, on day 6, this is where I'm following up either on the email if they didn't accept the in-mail on day 2, or I'm following up on the video or the voice note. And this is key. A lot of people don't follow up on the videos that they send, right? You make a video and you're like, oh man, this person didn't reply to me. And it's like, well, okay, you could follow up and get an answer, which I do. And that's how people get meetings, is you got to follow up. So one thing that you can do to follow up on this video or voice note that you can send on LinkedIn is asking, hi, Bobby, any feedback on my video? That works a lot. I have a rep that I trained out of UK. He's killing it on LinkedIn video, and that follow-up gets him a lot of meetings when the person doesn't watch the video. The reason most people don't get a lot of response on videos is because they're not following up on it. Someone may have missed it. Someone may have been watching halfway and they got distracted. So you got to ask for the feedback. I got a meeting on Friday by asking for feedback. And they're like, oh, thanks for letting me know. I was going to watch it and I forgot. Thanks for reminding me. They watched the video and they're like, I'm sold. Let's have a conversation. Ask for the feedback. Don't ask for any thoughts. Don't say bubbling back up to the top. Don't say, oh, like this may have been lost. Like, no, nobody cares about that. That's filler. That's garbage. Don't do that. Ask for feedback. Hi, Bobby. Any feedback on my video? Hi, Bobby. Any feedback on my voice note? Hi, Bobby. Any feedback on my email? That will get you higher response rates. We've seen it happen again and again and again. So do that. Then day 8, you send another email. Now, this email can be whatever you want, right? You can do another tailored email. You can do a video email, right? Maybe you're hot on video right now and you're killing it there. I don't know. But the thing is, day 8 is an outbound email. And then day 11 is a goodbye email. A goodbye email is I send you resources and I say, hey, this may not be the time for you right now for us to connect. However, again, boom, you're just going to reach out at a later point. Don't send breakup emails. All right. This is where people mess up. They send breakup emails. That doesn't even make any sense. Hey, we haven't been able to talk at all and you haven't responded to me. And I feel really bad about it because I've been personalizing my emails. So I should be owed a response. And so I'm not going to talk to you ever again. What? That doesn't make any sense. When you break up with someone, the chances of you getting back to them is very, very low for the most part, right? Obviously, there's cases where they do that. However, there's always emotional baggage. So don't create emotional baggage with your prospect that you've never talked to. Stop doing breakup emails. I'm on a rampage. Stop breakup emails. I'm on a hunt. I don't want to see them anymore. Goodbye emails is where you should focus on. That's giving people resources. That's telling them, hey, check out my LinkedIn if you're interested. It's a light touch to be like, hey, we'll talk later. It's all good, right? So that's the sequence or the formula or the cadence there. Number 1, LinkedIn Connect request. Number 2, video. Number 3, day 4, LinkedIn video or voice message or InMail. Day 6, I'm following up on that email if they didn't respond to the InMail, or I'm following up on the LinkedIn video or the voice note. Day 8, email. Day 11, hey, see ya, goodbye. Carmel, that is it right there. If you need to hit me up and you want the breakdown in your inbox, I can definitely do that. But that formula, again, has been killing it for clients I've been working with. So again, hopefully that was helpful there. If anybody has any follow-up questions on that one, let me know. All right, so we only got a couple minutes left, and then I got to pop out of here. So I'm going to help my brothers with Father's Day. You know, got to hang out with the dad here today because he's got some stuff going on tomorrow. So we're doing Father's Days early. So got to bounce here soon. So let's see. This is a good question. I like this from Steven. Why do you think so many people hate prospecting? Where does the belief come from that when you move to an account executive that somehow prospecting goes by the wayside? I love this question. I got to drink my water for this one because I got a lot on this one. The reason people don't like prospecting is because of rejection. Nobody likes to be rejected. And nobody likes knowing that that person may not want to talk to them. See, when you become an AE, things change. You have leads coming to you that have already expressed interest. They're coming in inbound. They're coming from an SDR, BDR. And you necessarily are like, oh, I don't have to feel the pain of rejection anymore. Through prospecting, yeah, you're going to face it in the sales cycle. However, that's different because these people want to talk to me. When you prospect, these people don't want to talk to you. They don't know you. And they don't even want to have a conversation with you yet. That makes people afraid. Makes people scared. And that's why people don't do it. It's because people are afraid of the rejection. They're also afraid of putting themselves out there, knowing that, man, this person just may not respond. They're afraid of putting in the work because they may feel like it's a waste of time. And also, most people just don't know how to do it. So they'd rather just wait on their SDR and BDR to give it to them and not admit that they don't know how to do it. And also, you have to stay continuously up to date. Prospecting changes every other month. So if you're not willing to hone your craft and figure this out, you're going to be left behind as a whole. That's why people hate prospecting, because it requires continuous work. You can't really slip up with prospecting, right? There's so many emails out there. There's so many videos out there. There's so many cold calls that you can go do. You can send out all this stuff and get nothing because there's so much noise. With the deal, right, with the product, you can show the product and it's like, oh yeah, we need that product, so I'll buy. You don't even have to be that great at it, right? You can just show a product and you're like, oh yeah, we need that product, so yeah, we got to do this. However, with prospecting, it's different, right? Because you continuously have to figure out what are different ways to get someone's attention while everyone else is getting hounded. So that's why people hate prospecting, because it requires continuous work. And it requires diligence. It requires refinement. It requires a continuous process. And you don't know if you're going to get that meeting or not, even if you do all the work. And that's why every single year, the number one skill that people complain about or upset about is prospecting. And that is why I am committed to being the absolute best at this as possible. Because I know, and we all know, for people in here who prospect, is if you can prospect, you're set for life. What I always tell people is that your pipeline is your lifeline. If you don't have a pipeline, it doesn't matter how good you are at closing, you ain't doing anything. You're not. So for all those people out there that hate prospecting, that loathe it, we're coming to a marketplace where you better at least get it, because it ain't getting any easier out here. And so that's my answer to that. There are no handouts out here. No one's going to show up to your door and give you leads. No one's going to show up to your door and give you close opportunities. You, as a sales professional, as a sales leader, should be helping your sales reps become great at prospecting and great at selling. Because at the end of the day, I believe you have to know both. Whether you're better at one or the other, that's fine. However, both are required for success in this world moving forward. That is my honest belief. Someone can disagree with me there. That's fine. But that's my take at the end of the day. And that's why, Stephen, most people hate prospecting. It requires continuous work. It's, like Calvin already said it, it's not easy, and it's a daily thing. However, if you treat it as a daily thing and it's part of your lifestyle, then your lifestyle will look good, because you'll always have people to talk to and you'll always have meetings. So that's it. That's why, I mean, yeah, you put it right here. Let's come back to Stephen, right? And we're gonna. This is key. Is that, like, I don't want to put my goals, my outcomes. Like, think about it. My family's livelihood in someone else's hands. It's not even that. It's like your family's livelihood. Like, think about it on a deeper level. Like, your family's livelihood, you're putting in the hands of someone else. I don't vibe with that. Look, I'm glad you're helping me. I'm glad I have an SDR BDR. That's fantastic. That's awesome. If you have one, you should cherish that individual. You shouldn't be treating that individual like whatever. You should cherish that, because that's key. They're giving you meetings, which probably yourself, it's hard to do, right? And so, yeah, I don't get it. Like, it's just having an SDR BDR and also prospecting yourself. Like, that's what everyone should be doing, jumping jacks out the gym for that. So that's my take there. Maybe very direct, but that's my take. Like, don't treat prospecting as a chore. Treat it as, this is what I need to do to be successful in this. So that's my take there. And then, we're at time. I answer this. I'll keep this last. I'll get this last question here by Daryl. Is, how long do you do your discovery calls typically last? So they normally last like 30 minutes. Everyone's discovery call is different. But mine normally lasts 30 minutes. I normally do 3 minutes of rapport, 3 to 5 minutes of rapport, then about 20 minutes of discovery, and then I try to leave like 5 minutes for next steps. Sometimes that goes over though, but normally I do like 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes rapport, normally like 3 minutes, 20 minutes of like, let's get discovery, and then like 5 to 7 minutes of what are the next steps, right? So that's normally my take. So everybody, so right here, again, I'm heading out. I know we got some questions flowing in. I'll keep these questions for next time. So if you ask a question, I got you next time for sure. Again, I got to head out here because my parents are waiting for me. They're probably like, Morgan, what are you doing? So everyone who came in and asked some questions, I appreciate it. And again, at the end of the day, if you have any additional questions, hit me up on LinkedIn. Super simple. Again, if you haven't been here before, this is Muffins with Morgan. I just got my muffins in the background, and and we just chill here. And then on top of that, if you are looking to tune in more, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday, we're here, and I'm just going through questions, and we're just getting to it. So, yeah. So, Kevin, YouTube, we got YouTube episodes coming out soon. I just got videos in the background. I just need to edit them. I just haven't got a chance to do it yet, but it's coming, so don't worry about it. And yeah, I mean, I guess last two things I'll add here is in terms of feedback, like normally I just leave it at that. I don't add any more steps after that. I normally just keep going on other channels, Chris. If I ask for feedback, I don't do anything. And then in terms of how hard is it? Yeah, it's definitely harder for sure. It's the current climate. So, we all just have to continue to get better and think about our ICP. But again, we'll dive into that next time. So, all right, guys, appreciate you guys as always, and have a good one.